as we know, the detective he been questioned about Nolan Wells and what happened and what he tried to cover up. Now I want everybody to know 3 people had just been charged in trying to tamper with the witnesses, with the judge, and with a couple more officials in this case. Everybody know what happened. Why did y'all even try to act like y'all didn't know what went down on that boat? When that boat went out there to that island at 7:30, when everybody left, Nolan Wells should have left with them. Why didn't he leave with them? He didn't leave with them because they was on some other stuff and they pulled a stunt that everybody see. It all came back to Nolan Wells actually being one of the main persons who was actually into an argument or altercation that they not even trying to talk about. Now, by them trying not to talk about the altercation, it goes to show they trying to cover up something. It's plain and simple. It's right in everybody's face. You can't sit here and act like you don't see what's really going on. I want everybody to know the way that Nolan Wells went out there with his friends and then end up getting into an argument and then getting into an altercation. Now, keep in mind, if it was just an argument, Nolan Wells would still be on that boat coming back at 7:30 with them people. Now, they saying that 3 people have been charged in threatening a judge, a witness, and local officials connected to the investigation into the death of Nolan Wells. An 18-year-old found dead after a 4th of July boat trip with friends to an island off Mississippi Gulf Coast. Now, they said none of the 3 people appeared to know Nolan Wells, his family, or the boating group. A lot of people sat there and saw how everybody tried to cover it up and tried to act like this person wasn't even a part of the investigation. They tried to act like Nolan Wells, the dude who actually called in and tried to threaten the people, they tried to act like that was the same person who didn't know them. But how you don't know them, but you actually speaking on the situation? You speaking on the situation because either somebody paid you or somebody sat there and had you to go do it, or you was one of the persons who was actually out there when everything went down. Like, you got to understand one thing we know and we can see with our own eyes is that it was a lot of people out there. And you mean to tell me ain't nobody had a cell phone out? You mean to tell me ain't nobody record that nice water with them nice boats around? Come on now, you got to be kidding me. Like, at the end, we know for a fact that a lot of people sitting here acting like they don't know what happened to Nolan Wells. Y'all went out there with this boy and then y'all got into it. They got a lot of videos on X and they show a lot of people. And they act like they didn't know that the authorities had made a couple arrests. You feel me? They had a couple suspects, but the suspects that they had, everybody pleading not guilty. Everybody saying that they ain't know what happened and they ain't do it. If everybody keeps saying that they ain't do it, but you hear audio, you see Nolan Wells go out there with these, like, this group of people to an island. You see them had the boat and try to clean it up and everything. You see the audio get released, but you still don't know who did it. That's why they said that the dude Tatum, like, he was the main one who tried to, like, actually cover it up. He got exposed by the white lady. They said, like, at the end of the day, by him getting exposed by that white lady, it goes to show everything that's going on. Look at this. Look what this lady said.
For her shower. She says she knows exactly what happened to Nolan Wells. She says the tape proves it. Millions of people believed her within days. Here's what you need to know before you believe her too. We're going to play you the actual recording she's talking about. Not a clip, not a caption, the whole thing. And we're going to show you what the real investigation has confirmed, right up to this week.
I just want to insert my opinion for like 2 seconds on the Nolan Wells case because I just saw where Nancy Grace came out with the transcribed CETO call. And here's my thing. I'm from the South, so I feel like I can speak on this because I grew up around nothing but racist, okay? And so as someone with this skin, I feel like I could speak out on this. Here's my questions. Why? First of all, so many of y'all want to say that it wasn't murder. Like, so many of y'all were so quick to say it wasn't murder that
a lot
things
of them
happened.
is saying that.
If that was the case, then why do none of the friends know what happened?
Exactly. I was just saying that. I just
Furthermore,
said that.
Nancy Grace just released a CETO call. Anybody in their right mind, if you hear what was on that call in the background where they're asking, is someone dead? First things first, you're not going to call CETO. You're going to call 911, typically, if you're worried about someone.
You are.
Secondly, why did you turn down Coast Guard when they asked if you needed the Coast Guard? If you are sinking, and if there is that shit going on in the background, like what they're asking about, is someone dead, you should say yes to any bit of help that you can get, right?
Exactly.
I also think it's odd that all of them got rid of their social media. None of them have really had much of an explanation. They do what your typical white people do in those circumstances. Look at the Murdoch case, and there was no one of color in that case. But because they were prominent Caucasians surrounding around that death of the girlfriend, they did everything they could to cover up and get him out of it. The same rules apply to this, and like in my head, the same rules apply to this. They were
like, you got to understand, they trying to hold the autopsy. By them trying to hold the autopsy, what is y'all trying to hide? Why is it so confidential? Like, information. Like, come on now.
both situations were boating, and in those situations, someone unfortunately lost their life. But getting back to the Nolan case. Hearing that voice, like hearing that recording of them asking for, or just asking if someone is dead in the background, how is it that you're clueless and you have no idea what could have happened to him? That call, like, there's a reason why Nancy Grace got her bob fixed to the heavens, honey. That thing wouldn't move in hurricane force winds. She knows something. Her gut tells her something, just like my gut has been telling me something has been going on with this case. It was too weird. It was too weird. And I got to be careful with how I say things, because y'all love to drag me through the mud anytime I talk out against Caucasians. So I'm trying to be careful with how I word this. But before I get in the shower, I've had a long day at work. Before I get in the shower, I really wanted to like put a little bit of 2 cents in your head with that, because I commented on Nancy Grace's video and already people have started coming for me. And all I did was comment, why did we call CETO and not 911? And several people commented and said, well, because there was no medical emergency. You fucking racist idiot. What do you mean there's no medical emergency? Open your fucking ears. And do you not hear them in the background asking if someone is dead? Are you that small-minded that you will forego any bit of the facts because you need your story to be the truth, where no one was murdered? If that was your youngin', if the roles were reversed, y'all,
what would you have done?
My God, as a white person, I could come out and say that. I know good and well if the roles were reversed, y'all would be dragging this through the mud. But because it was a group of Caucasians and it was an African-American person that passed away, all of you small-minded, closed, racist people, you immediately want to assume that he died of like natural causes, or he caused his own death, or it wasn't a murder.
When everybody know for a fact he was with all them white dudes, like, I ain't got nothing against white people. I got a lot of white friends, and I got a lot of white people that I associate with. There's nothing wrong with white people, but the group of people that he was with, those were the group of people who did that to him. If it ain't one person, it was 2 people, it was 3 people, and if it weren't those, it was 4 people. It was all of them. I want y'all to know this crazy, but they knew exactly what happened, and they did what they did, and they trying to cover it up now. Leave y'all thoughts down in the comments. Let me know how y'all feel about this situation. RIP Nolan Wells.